Good morning, y'all. Miss Delta 9 coming at you from the kitchen. I might look a little nuts. I am numbing my cheek area here and here for the jowls. Today I'm going to be using the Neogenesis 30 gauge 25-inch screw threads. These come in a variety of sizes, and I want to go over what the sizes are, the purpose, and the side effects, and the safety. So it's not opened yet, and so today I'm going to talk a little bit about it, and I'm going to demonstrate how the Neogenesis screw threads are inserted. And before we start, I really want to just say, let's make something real clear here. This is an educational demonstration for people who want to understand what these threads are, what they are designed to do, and you may experience afterwards, after insertion, what the potential risks are. So this is not a DIY project that you do at home yourself. Threads, the insertion is an invasive procedure and should only be done and performed by someone who has the appropriate training, understanding facial anatomy, using appropriate sterile and techniques. That's why they're not open yet. That's why I have cellophane on here and no gloves, and I'm sitting at my kitchen table because I'm numbing it. Here's what they look like. The threads I'm going to be demonstrating are 30 gauge 25-inch screw threads. The 30 gauge refers to the gauge of the needle or the delivery system. And remember something important about the gauges. The higher the gauge number, the smaller the diameter is going to be. So a 30 gauge needle is relatively fine. But the gauge alone doesn't tell you everything about the thread. You also need to know that the configuration and the length specifically, right, by the manufacturer, because there are 11-inch, 25-inch, 30-inch. They go all the way up to where you could do the jaw all the way up. And so you have to pick the appropriate size, appropriate length that you want to have. In this case, we're just talking about screw threads. What is a screw thread? A screw thread is really a PDO arrangement. It is a twisted, like a helical configuration rather than simply being a straight, smooth fragment. I'll show it to you when we do the insertion. The configuration gives the material a different interaction with the surrounding tissues within my face or wherever I'm placing the threads. The purpose isn't simply to physically fill wrinkles. The thread creates a temporary scaffold with tissue, and that stimulates localized wound healing response, including collagen production. And that's what I want, increased collagen production. So over time, this absolutely is an absorbable material, and it's broken down in the body naturally. And as it's broken down, the collagen is produced. So when we're talking about these threads, we're talking about the physical presence of the thread and the biological response of the tissue around it. So we're creating these little tiny holes. Why would someone choose a screw thread? Screw threads are generally used when the practitioner is looking for more tissue contact than they would from a single mono thread. They have mono threads that are single, small in length, small in diameter, and those will build collagen as well. But the screw thread just gives you a little more structure to the surrounding tissue within. So depending upon the treatment that you want, the plan that the practitioner is looking for, you may use these threads to address certain areas where you want to improve the appearance of skin quality, maybe fine lines, maybe some elasticity, or even requiring additional structural support. As we age, our skin drops, right? We lose collagen. And so instead of having jowls that drop here, I want to lift them up and bring them back up naturally by building the collagen. But I want to emphasize a screw thread is not the same thing as a lifting cog thread. They have cog threads that have like a cog on the end, and then you can pull it, and it's actually considered a lifting thread. That's not what I'm using today. A screw thread is barbetted, and it's a lifting thread, but it has a different design and a different purpose for it. So don't look at a screw thread the same and assume it's like a cog, because it's going to produce the same. It's not going to produce the same mechanical results. Cog thread, you can literally pull it up and you can see it almost looks like a facelift within. So the demonstration I want to use today is I'm going to focus on what I'm doing and why the product that I selected. I'm not going to turn this into a step-by-step instruction procedure for anybody to follow without appropriate training. Please don't attempt this by yourself. There's anatomical structures within our face, within our skin, right, that you cannot see simply on the surface. So if you don't know your anatomy, your veins, your arteries, and your structure of your face, the face contains nerves, it contains arteries, it contains veins, it contains muscles, glands, and other important structures. So this is why knowledge of the anatomy is absolutely essential when you're trying to place threads. When you're working with any type of injectable, really, or an implantable aesthetic procedure, the objective isn't just simple, right? Can I get the product under my skin? That's the real question, right? Do I understand the anatomy, the product, the tissue response, the potential complications, and how to manage them if I have them? That's the difference between just simply inserting something and performing a reasonable clinical procedure. So what you might experience is, I'll talk a little bit about some of the side effects. I don't generally experience a lot of them because I've been doing thread maintenance for quite some time. Some reactions can just be temporary and some are just expected. You may see some bruising, some swelling, some tenderness, some soreness, some redness, maybe even feeling like there's some sort of tightness in your skin. And sometimes you have a temporary dimple or irregularity on the skin that shows up. Those things can happen because we have intentionally introduced a foreign material into the tissue and created a controlled tissue response. That's all. But there is an important distinction really between a normal temporary response and a complication. So when should you be concerned? I would say increasing pain is sometimes something that you don't want to ignore. Either it's significant or worsening, or the swelling is spreading, some redness maybe, or drainage or fever, unusual skin discoloration, or persistent numbness or weakness. You want to see what you can do and seek professional help, because you may be having not just a simple natural side effect from the insertion of the thread, you might be having a symptom going along with that. So if something seems to be getting worse rather than it's progressively getting better and improving, then that deserves some sort of professional attention. Don't just simply assume, right? One of the biggest risks with these are infection. If you're not using a proper aseptic technique and sterile procedures when opening and handling these within your environment, you can cause an infection. And sometimes you'll notice that by temperature, change in skin, redness, or fever. So don't just simply assume. It's just part of the healing process, because it's not always that. When you're dealing with invasive procedures, it's better to have something evaluated than to ignore it for potential complications, right? Who would need some sort of extra cautionary measures before threads are even a procedure that you think about? The practitioner needs to know about the person's medical history, maybe some medications. That includes supplements that you're taking that would possibly increase your bleeding, Coumadin, heparin, or bruising. It's also relevant for us to know your allergies, previous procedures, interactions you've had, healing problems, or other factors that may affect you. This is one of the reasons I think that a proper consultation is very, very important, right? You don't just determine candidacy by looking at someone's face in 5 minutes. One thing I want you to remember is that a 30 gauge does not mean it's a low risk. Doesn't mean it's risk-free. 25 inches does not mean better, right? And the more threads do not automatically mean better results. So the size and the configuration are simply just characteristics of the product, and the outcome depends basically on the factors, including my anatomy, my tissue characteristics, my treatment goals, my product selection, my placement, right? Techniques, and the healing response. I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm gonna lay 20 today, and that is just a maintenance. I do maintenance about every 3 months. So I love educating people on what's actually happening beneath the surface of the skin, but because you understand the anatomy and the science behind it, you can make much better choices and decisions about your own body. But education also means to be honest about the risks, right? These are not beauty stickers. They're not something that you experiment with because you've watched one video on YouTube. They're a medical device that are being introduced into living tissue. So you have to be very respectful for the product. Respect the anatomy of your face. If you don't know where your veins, arteries, muscles, and nerves and things are, you need to look up the anatomy of your face. Respect that anatomy. Respect the training that's required for you to do insertion. And most importantly, respect the person that might be receiving the treatment or that you're giving the treatment to. This is a Neogenesis 30 gauge 25-inch screw thread that I will demonstrate today. Know what you're using. Know who you're getting it from. Know the expiration date. All of these have on the bottom expiration date, size, where they came from. They have a lot number. Write it down in your DIY book if you're doing DIY skincare at home. And know when something isn't right. This video, again, is for educational purposes only. Thread placement is an invasive procedure, and this video does not provide instructions for self-insertion or substitution for appropriate professional education, training, or even clinical judgment and assessment, right? Manufacturer instructions are applicable where laws and regulations occur in the United States. So know your product, know your practitioner, know your body, know your skin, and know your side effects. I will come back and we will be inserting 20 threads. Okay guys, welcome back. I am going to go ahead and wash one side off, this side off here. Then I will open this up and show you. I'll change the camera scene and I'll show you. Make sure you have a sharps container, your alcohol. I have alcoholed my face and done all that. This is the numbing medicine I use, the lidocaine. So I'm going to take this side off. So you can see. Sometimes you put the cellophane on and it insulates the lidocaine so it numbs it really well. So I had washed my face and cleansed it really well with the HIPAA cleanse. we're going to use some cotton balls and some alcohol. Clean our face here. I'm going to open these up and put them down on my sterile place. Make sure you check the expiration date. They all come individually packed. It's 10 per pack. So we'll start with 10. We'll do 5 here and 5 here, and then I'll numb up again and do the ones above. Today I'm doing just a maintenance to help build up some collagen in the marionette lines here. I'm gonna alcohol my hands. I am a very tactile nurse, and I like to be able to feel, and I'm in my own environment, so I'm okay. So they come like this, and you gently remove the lid, and you can see it. I'm going to close this a second. Okay, I just wanted to see the bevel. Okay, and this one I'm going to start here and go this way, because these marionette lines, they go this way. So to build collagen in that area, I'm going to go the opposite way. Like so. You hold the white, screw left, screw right, and pull out. And one is perfectly laid. You're going in the subdermal plane. If you hit a nerve, you will definitely know it. Just pull out a little bit and redirect. Again, let me reiterate, this is not to teach you how to insert screw threads. This is just my process. Four down, 2 to go. I love threads. I do maintenance about every 3 months. And my first time I did the insertion, I did probably 70 threads. And now I just do maintenance every 3 months. I'll do eyebrows up here. I'll do here, here, and jowls. I may do the other 5 right there on both sides. I think I will. I'm gonna go right here. See how our skin wants to move down? So I'm just gonna help it to build some collagen. We'll do the other 10 on the other side. Just looking for the bevel. No bleeding. I'll have a little soreness here. Just making sure there's no thread sticking out. Because these are screw threads and not just mono threads. They have a tendency to last a little bit longer. But it's real important you know your anatomy. Of your veins, arteries, nerves, what nerves run through where. You hit a nerve, you're gonna know it. Not gonna hurt you, not gonna kill you, but you're gonna definitely know it. And don't panic, just pull out, redirect, and reinsert. Don't pull it completely out. And you see how there's a line here? This jaw area. Perfect. Perfect. And there we have it. 10 threads. Yeah. No bleeding. And I won't bore you with the other side, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Please come back and let me know if you use threads. Leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to know. Let's get a conversation started, shall we? Namaste, everyone.